For nearly 2,000 years, it lay undisturbed beneath the Mediterranean Sea. Salt water slowly consumed its wooden case. Coral and sediment buried what remained, until the object no longer looked like a machine at all. It was little more than a lump of green corrosion resting among the wreckage of an ancient ship. When it was finally brought back to the surface in 1901, no one realized what had been found. The shipwreck itself was extraordinary. Divers recovered towering marble statues, bronze sculptures, jewelry, glassware, and fine pottery, luxury cargo that had been traveling across the Mediterranean when the vessel sank sometime in the 1st century BC. Compared to those treasures, one small block of corroded bronze seemed insignificant. It was catalogued alongside the other artifacts and placed into storage, where it remained largely unnoticed. Months later, as the corrosion began to dry and crack, something unexpected appeared. A bronze gear, then another. Perfectly cut teeth emerged from the hardened surface, revealing that this wasn't a broken statue or part of the ship. It was the remains of a machine. That discovery immediately raised a problem. Complex gears were not something historians expected to find in an artifact more than 2,000 years old. The ancient Greeks were renowned for their philosophy, mathematics, and architecture, but precision mechanical engineering on this scale seemed to belong to a much later period. The object simply didn't fit in the accepted timeline. For decades, researchers struggled to understand it. The fragments were too fragile to separate, and much of the mechanism had been destroyed after centuries beneath the sea. Only about a third of the original device survived, leaving archaeologists to piece together its purpose from scattered fragments. It was like trying to understand a watch after finding only a handful of rusted gears. Some believed it was an astronomical instrument. Others suggested it was a navigation device or some kind of mechanical calendar. Every new theory explained part of the mystery, while leaving another part unanswered. The breakthrough came more than a century after the shipwreck was discovered. Using high-resolution X-rays and three-dimensional imaging, researchers were finally able to look inside the mechanism without taking it apart. Hidden beneath the corrosion were dozens of interconnected gears arranged in multiple layers, along with tiny Greek inscriptions that had remained invisible for nearly 2,000 years. The machine had been preserving its own instructions all along. Suddenly, the scattered fragments began to make sense. The gears weren't random, they represented mathematical relationships. The inscriptions referred to calendars, eclipses, and the movements of the sun and moon. Combined with the mechanical layout, they revealed something remarkable. The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't built to tell time, it was built to predict the heavens. Turning a small hand crank caused every gear inside to rotate together. As they moved, pointers advanced across engraved dials on the front and back of the machine, tracking the positions of celestial bodies and following repeating astronomical cycles that ancient observers had spent generations studying. One dial synchronized lunar months with the solar year. Another predicted eclipses years in advance. Every rotation transformed mathematics into motion, allowing the user to model the sky using nothing more than bronze gears. Today, those calculations can be performed instantly by a smartphone. More than 2,000 years ago, they were performed by a hand-powered machine. The engineering itself is impressive, but the deeper mystery lies elsewhere. Machines like this do not appear in isolation. Someone had to discover the astronomical cycles. Someone had to convert those observations into mathematics. Someone had to design a system of gears capable of reproducing those calculations. And someone possessed the skill to manufacture each component with extraordinary precision. The Antikythera Mechanism is evidence of far more than a single invention. It points to an entire tradition of scientific knowledge, yet almost none of that tradition survives. No workshop has ever been found. No complete instruction manual exists. No other mechanism of comparable complexity has been recovered from the ancient world. Whether this was a unique masterpiece or one example of a lost technology remains one of archaeology's greatest unanswered questions. The machine itself was surprisingly compact. Roughly the size of a shoebox, it was housed inside a wooden case with bronze dials on both sides. At first glance, It probably resembled an ordinary scientific instrument. Its true complexity was hidden beneath the surface. Inside were dozens of bronze gears, each cut with remarkable precision. Every gear contained a carefully chosen number of teeth, allowing one rotation to produce another at exactly the right speed. Working together, they recreated astronomical cycles that repeated over months, years, and even decades. It wasn't simply recording information, it was calculating it. The front of the mechanism displayed the sun and moon moving across the zodiac. A small rotating sphere even showed the changing phases of the moon, making it one of the earliest known mechanical displays of its kind. On the back, two spiral dials tracked much longer cycles. One helped reconcile the mismatch between lunar months and the solar year. Another followed a repeating pattern that allowed eclipses to be predicted long before they occurred. To modern eyes, predicting an eclipse may not seem extraordinary. The exact date of the next eclipse can be found in seconds. In the ancient world, the ability to anticipate an event that appeared both rare and dramatic was something entirely different. Solar eclipses could transform daylight into darkness without warning. Lunar eclipses stained the moon red. To many cultures, these events carried religious and political significance. The Antikythera Mechanism showed that they also followed predictable mathematical patterns. That may be its greatest achievement. Rather than treating the heavens as unpredictable, it treated them as a system governed by rules that could be measured, understood, and reproduced with gears. The more researchers learned about the mechanism, the more one question refused to go away. Who could have built something like this? The exact answer remains unknown. The inscriptions are written in Greek, and the scientific ideas behind the mechanism match what is known about astronomy during the Hellenistic period, when Greek scholars made enormous advances in mathematics, engineering, and the study of the natural world. This was an age of observatories, libraries, and scientific experimentation. Engineers designed sophisticated water-powered devices. Mathematicians calculated the size of the Earth with surprising accuracy. And astronomers spent generations recording the movements of the heavens. The Antikythera Mechanism didn't appear in a world that lacked scientific knowledge. It emerged from one that valued it, and that distinction matters. The machine is often described as being ahead of its time, but that phrase can be misleading. It wasn't built by people with mysterious knowledge or impossible technology. It was built by skilled craftsmen applying the best science available to them. The real mystery isn't how they were capable of building it, it's why so little of that mechanical tradition survived. Bronze was one of the most valuable materials in the ancient world. Broken objects were rarely thrown away. They were melted down and turned into something new. Wooden cases decayed, workshops disappeared, wars destroyed cities, and libraries vanished. History has a habit of preserving stone. Machines are far less fortunate. If the Antikythera Mechanism had completed its journey, it might never have reached the modern world. After years of use, it could have been dismantled, recycled, or simply worn out like countless other tools. Instead, a shipwreck froze it in time. For nearly 2,000 years, the sea protected what human history almost certainly would not. What makes the Antikythera Mechanism so remarkable isn't that it changes history. It's that it changes the way history is viewed. For generations, the ancient world was often imagined as a place of monumental architecture and philosophical ideas, while sophisticated mechanical engineering was associated with much later civilizations. This small collection of bronze gears challenged that assumption. It revealed that ancient engineers were capable of combining mathematics, astronomy, and precision craftsmanship into a single working machine. More importantly, it showed that scientific knowledge didn't exist only in books. It could be built, tested, and held in the palm of a hand. Even after more than a century of research, the mechanism still holds unanswered questions. Researchers continue to debate how some of the missing gears were arranged and exactly what appeared on the damaged front display. No one knows who commissioned it, who owned it, or how many similar devices may have existed. Those questions may never be answered. But the surviving evidence tells a remarkable story on its own. The Antikythera Mechanism was not an accident. It was the product of generations of observation, calculation, and craftsmanship. Every gear reflects knowledge that had been refined over centuries, then transformed into one of the most sophisticated scientific instruments of the ancient world. Its survival was equally unlikely. A violent storm sank a Roman ship carrying works of art across the Mediterranean. While statues captured the attention of the divers who discovered the wreck, one corroded lump of bronze quietly waited to reveal an entirely different treasure. Not gold or jewels, but knowledge. Today, the Antikythera Mechanism sits behind glass in a museum, no longer hidden beneath the sea. It has become one of archaeology's most important discoveries, not because it proves impossible technology, but because it reminds us how much of the ancient world has been lost. History is built from what survives. Everything else is left to imagination. For every artifact preserved in a museum, countless others have disappeared through war, disaster, decay, or simple neglect. Entire workshops have vanished. Libraries have burned. Inventions that may once have been commonplace can leave behind no trace at all. The Antikythera Mechanism is a rare exception, a machine that escaped destruction by sinking to the bottom of the sea. More than 2,000 years later, it continues to challenge assumptions about the past, reminding us that human ingenuity is not unique to the modern age. Sometimes the greatest discoveries aren't new at all, they're simply waiting to be found again.